viewers in Japan. Now, the population of Japan is just under 125 million, meaning that 20% of the country's entire population watched the Dodgers-Cubs game, game one. Absolutely insane. Now on to game two. We don't know those numbers yet, but what I was excited to see was Roki Sasaki on the mound. And we got to see it very early. Not in the first inning, though the Dodgers were wearing white, which confused me. Dodgers were in white, but they were not the home team. Confusing all around. But we did get to see Roki Sasaki take the mound there in the bottom of the first. 23 years old. At 23 years old and 136 days, at 23 and 136 days old, Roki Sasaki is the third youngest Japanese-born player to debut in Major League Baseball after playing in NPB, behind Masanori Murakami in 1964 and Tomo Oka in 1999. So since the year 2000, nobody close to Roki Sasaki's age has debuted in Major League Baseball. His debut on the mound, 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts. Came in absolutely juiced up. First pitch of the game was 100. Was throwing 100.5 in that first inning as well. Just absolutely juiced up on adrenaline to get out there and pitch in the Tokyo Dome. He was erratic for sure. My takeaway was basically, look, he's nasty. His stuff is nasty. He's throwing 100. His splitter's disgusting in the, well over 90 mile an hour. It's disgusting. He has great stuff. It will play in Major League Baseball, but he has some work to do to rein in that command. 5 walks, 3 in a row at one point. And my thought when it came to Roki Sasaki is, look, I'm high on this guy. I think he's going to be a superstar. And after this first start, I still believe that wholeheartedly. It's just a command thing. I'd rather have the stuff, right? I'd rather have the stuff and then rein that in. And by stuff, I mean he throws 100, nasty splitter, good off-speed stuff. So I'd rather have that and then figure out how to rein in the command. But I will say, I thought it was a possibility for him to come out a little erratic because of those nerves he was going to be experiencing. But I after watching, don't want to say I think that's the reason. Nerves are going to show in the first inning. Once you get through that first inning as a pitcher, really once you take the mound and settle in and get an out, those nerves subside. And those walks for Roki didn't come in the first inning. Those 3 walks in a row came after the first inning and then later on in his start. So I don't think I can attribute nerves to the walks that we saw. I just think Roki Sasaki has some work to do on his command. I think he needs to rein that in a little bit, and I think he needs to figure that out. But his velocity was great. I know that was a big talking point for people when he was in MPB. A couple of years ago, he was throwing around 100 miles an hour often. And then last year, a little step back with the velocity. Well, it's back. And he was asked about that postgame. He was asked about his velocity being back. And he said, I found a delivery that really works for me. I was happy to obviously see 100 in the first inning, but in that third inning as well, meaning that his velocity was sticking around. It wasn't just that first adrenaline bump, and then his velocity wavers off after that. So, all in all, a start that is a great one to build off of. He only gave up 1 hit. His stuff is unhittable. He just needs to rein it in and figure out the command issues that he was dealing with there in game 1. But he's 23 years old, pitching in the Tokyo Dome in his first game, Tokyo Series, second game of the year for anybody. Absolutely understandable that he's struggling to find his command. But he did come out in that first inning, got through it, and then the walks after that were, I don't think were nerves. But the dude's nasty. The dude shoves, and he looked really good out there at times, other than the walks. Also in this game, Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani, on the biggest stage you can have in Japan, in front of his home crowd, in front of a massive crowd in the Tokyo Dome, once again rises to the occasion, hits a home run. I am at a loss for words with what this guy does. I said it in yesterday's show, but Shohei Ohtani to baseball what Tiger Woods was to golf, what the Beatles were to music. That's what he's doing right now. He is furthering the game of baseball more than any of us can comprehend. In my mind, in our minds, because we're gonna look back. People didn't know Babe Ruth was Babe Ruth while they were watching him. That's what's going to happen here. And that's why I try and talk about him as much as I do. And I will run into it forever where everybody says, you talk about Shohei too much. I don't care. I don't. This is the greatest baseball player that any of us have ever seen with our own two eyes. And what he's doing for the sport, how he will be remembered forever, we're seeing that legacy built right in front of our eyes every single day with him. And it is fascinating to me that he can rise to the occasion the way he does. This is baseball, right? This isn't another sport where you just go out and can perform and, you know, like, I don't even know exactly how I'm trying to word this, but baseball is so different in that it's a game of failure. Right? In basketball, if you have an open three-pointer, well, you should hit that more often than not if you're one of the greats. In football, if a ball's thrown your way and you're a wide receiver and you're open and you're able to get open, and I'm not trying to diminish any of those any of those accomplishments. But what I'm saying is hitting a baseball is the most complicated thing to do in all of sports. And the fact that he's able to rise to the occasion on the biggest and wildest stages is insane to me. You fail 70% of the time in baseball, but it seems like when a moment is a moment for Shohei Ohtani, he's succeeding the strong majority of times. And he homered here in this game. Obviously, the 2 hits in game 1, the homer here in game 2. First home run of the year in the Tokyo Dome for Shohei Ohtani is just iconic. It came on a 99.1 mile an hour pitch, which is the second fastest pitch that he's homered off of in his entire career, behind only Paul Skeens last year. That was a